of Illinois, dusk to follow, and then we'll have some nighttime football. Welcome to the Class 3A State Championship. It is IC Catholic taking on Williamsville. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Bernhardt, joined by Mark Lindo. Happy you could join us here for 3A action, 4A to follow. And Mark, I take a look at these two teams, and one comes from the north, one comes from central Illinois, but they're so similar. 40 points of offense and about 10 points allowed defensively.
Just kind of crazy, Dave. Both teams explosive offensively, stingy defensively, and turnovers, penalties going to be huge tonight. Both these teams with 30 points differential. Complimentary football, clean football, important tonight.
The IC Catholic Prep Knights taking the field, just one loss on the season. It was a 1-point loss to Joliet Catholic. And the Williamsville Bullets, they too with only one loss in the year. It was a 4-point loss. Identical records, they mean the state title game, and they are both used to being here. IC Catholic looking for its 6th title. Williamsville looking for number 2. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and they care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Family dinner with kids, not easy. You know what is easy? OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Get treatment for minor illnesses and injuries in person or connect 24/7 online. OSF On-Call Urgent Care.
Back at Memorial Stadium, it is the 3A championship. Williamsville winning the toss. They choose to receive. That means IC Catholic will kick off. And doing the kicking off will be Brian Kolojicek, and he'll boot it to Mason Lideker and Harley Sharp. This, however, will be a short kick, and Williamsville will have it to start from their own 33-yard line. Here's the ISU keys to the game. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Hey, for IC, dominate defensively. They've been great in the playoffs, allowing only 34 points. They got to read their keys, keep their eyes, bring extra heads to the football. They also have to have their offensive line shine, get their power and gap schemes going, watch for their guards to pull and create seams. And ground and pound for Williamsville. 3 seniors, 2 sophomores on their offensive line. Can they run the football? And then some big plays over the top.
They will run the football. They'll start it off with quarterback, the All-Stater, Jake Seaman. Now, the crazy thing about this Williamsville offense is prior to that play, coming in through 13 games, the difference between rushing and passing total yardage for the Bullets, 1 yard.
Yeah, just great balance. That's so hard to scheme against. IC in a 4-man front.
Seaman will keep it again, a short pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Seaman again on the 30. So with these 3rd down conversions, they'll be so important tonight to stay on the field who can make plays on third down. We talked about both these teams scoring 40 a game. Who will blink first and get a 3 and out?
There's Jake Seaman, 5'11", 175-pound senior, rushes for 828 yards. And a flag will come out as Seaman will force an encroachment on IC Catholic.
Yeah, probably just changed his cadence a little bit, his voice influx, if you will. You talked about his running prowess, 15 rushing TDs, 36 passing TDs. That is one explosive quarterback.
And he has only thrown 6 interceptions this year en route to 2,500 yards passing. And all of a sudden, 3rd down and 3.
I see showing their linebackers blitzing, but then they don't.
Bullets to stay on the ground, and that should be enough for a 1st down.
Just power football on the right side. Just enough of a seam opened up to get a little bit downhill running right there. A little trap block with the guard, and just enough for the 1st down. Know where the sticks are at.
And that was Colin Ripperda, number 6, right there in the middle of your screen. We'll see a lot of him on defense. We will see Ripperda on short down offense. Here's the carry from Sharp. Sharp, positive yardage, and he'll be about 3 yards short of a 1st down. Harley Sharp, 113 carries, 502 yards. He has 5 touchdowns, second leading ball carrier for Williamsville.
Yeah, he's legit. That's a little zone read right there. He gets the outside, reads his block, bumps it to the outside. Really solid run on 1st down.
7-yard pickup. Now Seaman's going to look for it all down that left sideline and right in the middle of the orange. And it was caught there by Ethan Hines. Hines, the leading receiver for this team, averaging about 13.5 yards per reception. He'll bring up a 3rd down and 3.
He had one-on-one Denzel Gibson on the coverage, number 7 in white. You'll see him with him step for step and just running out of real estate. Spatial awareness, need to know where the football sideline is at before you hit the boundary.
Another flag comes out. Speaking of flags here at Memorial Stadium quite motionless right now.
False start on the offense. Repeat.
That time it goes against Williamsville.
So we shall see what Seaman has on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 here. We talked about his percentage. He's hit like 65, 67% of his passes, which is unbelievable, the numbers that young man put up.
Aaron Coons, the head coach, loves to run this fast offense. Seaman has a little bit of room. Looking to get to the outside. Cannot split the defenders, but he will be close here on 4th down.
Well, Aaron Coons got an early decision to make on 4th and short from midfield. Very makeable situation. Probably only pick up, 20, 25 yards on a punt here. So they are going to go for it unless we see a pooch punt. Play breaks down. Seaman tries to do it with his legs just short. He might try to draw them offside here. It looks like he might be pooch punting this as well.
It's a little bit deeper behind the snap of Carson Beatty. And that one's picked off, intercepted by J.P. Schmidt. Schmidt will give IC Catholic the ball on the first turnover of the game.
Schmidt just playing a little bit of center field. 76 tackles on the season. The defensive player there in the Metro Suburban Blue. He's a coach on the field. He playing center field there, reading the eyes. You mentioned Seaman only had 6 interceptions. There's number 7, a little bit underthrown, and Schmidt turns it back the other way. IC Catholic with their first chance on offense.
Schmidt, son of a coach, one of the great IQs on this IC team. He stepped right in front of that Seaman pass, and now will be the Knights from their own 34-yard line. They'll be led by quarterback Dennis Mandela.
That just show the importance here of 4th and situation where they knew pass was expected. IC playing back, only rush 4, deep drops in their zone, and Schmidt was able to pick it off.
So many weapons offensively for IC. Mandela to keep it. He'll stumble forward for about 5 yards. You talk about numbers. How about Mandela? 68% completion. He has a 33-4 touchdown to interception ratio.
First team All-Stater, has had quite the year. 2,451 aerial yards as we speak for the 5'9", 160-pound junior.
Seeing on the ground. Taking a big hit is Joey Gliotta. Gliotta, what a set of playoffs he has had. Beginning in the quarterfinal game, he rushed for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last week in the semis, the junior rushing for 192 and 4.
He's going straight downhill, made one man miss, but then boom, a big time hit by Marshawn Griffin. 6'3", 205, put his hat right through the ball carrier. Gliotta.
Need a couple of yards here for a first down. Not going to get it on that play. Turned away by John Lehman. His 13th tackle for a loss this season. Number 78, the 6'1", 215-pound senior.
Really a big-time hit, making penetration into the IC Catholic backfield. Watch, he's sitting there waiting for him. Just fought off his block at the line of scrimmage, changed the line of scrimmage by playing on the other side. Great solo tackle. When your defensive lineman can make solo tackles, that makes your linebackers so much better as the game goes along.
The quarterback Mandela also doubles his IC punter. One man deep. Nobody rushing. Mandela will get it away. And it will be from the 35-yard line. And boy, did IC Catholic dodge one there. Well, a little excitement here early. No score here midway through the first quarter. IC Catholic, Williamsville, Mandela getting the job done.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
There are more than 20,000 ways to experience Illinois State. What kind of Redbird will you be? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by ISU. Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Here's head coach Bill Kreft, and he's breathing a little bit easier because just moments ago, his team nearly gave up a lot of field position on a near block punt.
Well, what happens, you talk about both these teams winning by big margins, and I mentioned in the open, sometimes it's mistakes. It's plays not made. A botched snap there between center and punter, a short punt. In Williamsville, with this omnipotent offense that they have, going to go with a relatively short field there as Bill Kreft talks to his staff. He's been a winner in his own right at IC Catholic.
105 wins in 11th season. He picked up his 100th win in the second round of the playoffs this year. In fact, he has been a member of all 5 state championship teams at IC, both as a player and as a coach. Second possession of the game for Williamsville. They'll do a little trick here with Jason Workman. Workman a little bit of room. He'll get out too close to the 45-yard line, and that's very close to a first down.
Workman on the reverse right here. Using speed and space. Got a little bit of knockdown blocks from the outside to the inside for his wide receivers on this reverse. And then he does the rest with speed to move the sticks. Really good stalk blocking on the outside.
Williamsville very quickly to the line. Very quickly they will move that ball forward, and Jake Seaman being kind of tossed around a bit. The first down pickup for Williamsville. And you will see the Bullets. They want to get it and go.
Fast break football, fun to watch, tough to defend. Does not allow the defense to rest nor substitute very often.
To the near side, Lineker trying to work off a block. And he'll get into IC territory.
See, an IC holds them, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, to 5 yards, because that did not look like a big play, but yet you're in front of the sticks, and you are in an enviable second down situation with a couple bullets left to go on this third down or second down drive.
Seaman to keep it. That'll be another 3-yard chunk. He runs along that right side, and who mans that right tackle position for Williamsville? How about Jacob Finley? There you take a look at IC Catholic's Jesse Smith. We'll talk about him. He'll be near the ball all night. But how about the right side of that line for Williamsville and Jacob Finley? Finley, number 57. You'll see him break the huddle. 6'9", 290 pounds.
Just crazy. They have a 5'8" guard and a 6'9" tackle, so they go from the short to the length of it, and they've been playing really well together as of late.
Looking for 4 yards here on third down. They give it to Ripperda. Hard running, straight ahead. That's enough for a first down. Colin Ripperda only stands 5'8", 180 pounds, but he packs a punch. His brother Grant was on the 2019 state title team.
Yeah, Harley Sharp, he's their home run guy. Ripperda is their between the tackles, short yardage, ground and pound, move the sticks guy. So a nice little compliment to each other in their running back stable.
Seaman, plenty of time. And now in trouble. And now we'll look to create. Seaman makes something out of nothing. He'll get 6 yards on first down.
Seaman had nothing. He kept his eyes downfield, looking, going through his progressions, trying to check off, see what receivers open. Pretty good blocking up front. He gets flushed out of the pocket and being able to evade the defense with his feet. Takes hit downfield, but not before he picks up another 5 yards on another first down play for Williamsville.
That's the 6th rush of this game from Seaman. This time he will throw. He'll get it out to Calvin Fleck. Big target at 6'4", 170. That'll be a little bit short of a first down. Starting lineups presented by OSF. And for Williamsville, then we talked about Seaman, Whitaker, Workman, Calvin Fleck, Ethan Hines. They will spread the field. They will use every one of those players. This time straight up the middle. Hard running, bursting forward, rip it up. He's inside the 20. What a load Colin Ripperda is.
14 yards, Ripperda right between guard and tackle on the left side, just playing powerful football, coming right at the teeth of the defense. Low leg drive, low center of gravity, low pad level, and he was able to move the sticks with a big-time 14-yard run.
Colin Ripperda, they play him full-time on defense. They use him on offense when they need him. Here he comes.
Yeah, they pulled the left tackle. He led him up through the line. Ripperda just continued to bulldog yards after contact.
Williamsville on the move, no score. Going to put something on the board here in our 3A championship game.
Behind every Delta Dental of Illinois dental plan, you'll find members happy to know they can trust the tooth to help them save money on dental care. Find a dental plan that fits you. Get affordable coverage today. Behind every Delta Dental of Illinois dental plan, you'll find people smiling because they know they can trust the tooth to protect and take care of their smiles. Find a dental plan that fits you. Get dental. It's essential.
Dave Bernhardt, Mark Lindau, high atop Memorial Stadium. Let's go down to the field, meet the third member of our announcing crew. That's Casey Standahar.
Guys, for IC Catholic head coach Bill Kraft, it's all about perception in this game. He's relying on the fact that his team has depth, but not in the way that most teams do. He said a lot of his players play 2 and sometimes 3 positions. His wide receiver and defensive back, KJ Parker, and his run stopper they have in Jesse Smith. He said, we may look deeper than we actually are, and we're going to use that to our advantage today and make this Williamsville team nickel and dime us all the way through.
Well, right now, Casey, they are nickeling and diming, and there's a big block. Hands up high from J.P. Schmidt. He had an interception earlier.
J.P. Schmidt.
One of the leaders on this team. Here's the offensive line for Williamsville. They have picked up chunks of yardage along the way. As we had mentioned, along the right tackle spot, you have Jacob Finley at 6'9", 290. There's the rest of the folks for the Bullets up front. Another carry by Ripperda. Tough to bring down as he stretches forward.
Yeah, right now, 17 plays run. 13 of them are rushes. So total yardage right now, Williamsville just controlling the running game and the clock right now.
11th play of the drive goes to Ripperda again. This time he will struggle forward. Should be enough for a first down, that extra little lunge by Ripperda. Defensively for IC Catholic starting lineups, they average giving up only 10 points per game. And you'll see some familiar faces and names. The defensive line, Parker, Ellis, and Gibson. Make that the secondary. And a first and goal they will be facing here. Schmidt, Calcagno, Smith, and Gliata. Ripperda again. So Colin Ripperda coming in, fourth leading ball carrier on the season with 53 carries through 13 games. He's gotten his work here early.
Yeah, Braylon Slinger really rode through a nice block as he pulled from the right side to the left. Left his ball carrier up through the hole. And they are really playing well together. Symmetry between running backs and offensive line are really clicking as they continue to grind the clock and control the line of scrimmage. They're playing on the IC Catholic side of the line of scrimmage this entire drive.
Seaman straight up the middle, and he'll be turned back. One of the big men up front, number 57, Darrell Taylor.
Key to defense right now is watching the ball, getting off the line of scrimmage, playing with a low pad level, and driving through the ball carrier. Big third down play here.
Third down and goal. Seaman here to the near side, looking to throw. Seaman can't get open. He's in the end zone. No. Ethan Hines ended up with the ball, and he was looking for Jake Seaman. It was well covered. You see number 52 out of there, Jesse Smith. You will hear a lot of him both ways.
Well, if you remember back in the put the play in the dirt pickup games, that was a double reverse with a pass right there back to the quarterback. But we talk about defenders keeping their eyes, and IC did right there. Read your keys, don't get fooled, but stay with your gap responsibility. IC Catholic did just that.
David Jenkins on for a 23-yard field goal attempt. He's 2 for 2 in his season. His long is 23 yards. Kick up, kick through, and Williamsville will take the lead with 2:22 to play in the first quarter. So the long drive by Williamson. You talk about the nickel and diming. That's exactly what they did. Jenkins straight through the middle.
But IC's game plan was to quote-unquote make Williamsville go nickel and dime, just not beat with the explosive play. Williamsville, the old cliche, take what the defense gives us. They did just that. Methodically drove the ball downfield, kept time of possession a big time in their favor for 5 minutes and 3 seconds. In the meantime, at the 5-yard line, deep in the red zone, IC was able to hold them to a field goal. So a pretty good victory for both teams. Williamsville riding the ball and moving the ball. IC keeping them out of the end zone.
15 plays, 60 yards on that drive to a field goal as Aaron Coons looks on. 174 wins in his 20th season. Bill Kreff looks, and being behind is nothing to panic, reason to panic, because in that game, the quarterfinal game against Princeton, the Knights found themselves down 20-7, only to come away with a 27-20 overtime win. Great ball game played at Princeton.
Yeah, two outstanding teams in the field that day, as they all are once you get to the quarters, semis, what have you. So they won't blink. They played great competition all year. Only loss, a 1-point loss to JCA, Joliet Catholic.
One hop on the 14-yard line. KJ Parker's brought down after a short pickup to about the 31-yard line. IC Catholic prep. Straight down to Champaign. The drive a little bit shorter for Williamsville. The Bullets just outside of Springfield from Williamsville, Illinois. and they'll head just about due east and land here at Memorial Stadium.
Both schools with a good fan base here for the state finals. 4 o'clock game, one to follow at 7.
That ball game will match Sacred Heart Griffin and Providence Catholic. Nice to start from their own 31-yard line. They've had the ball once here in the first quarter. Mandela, trouble. Another loss. Count the number of purple jerseys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1 in there, pulling himself off the pile. Nolan Bates coming up from his free safety position.
Yeah, they wanted a little play-action pass. They want to get the ball to perimeter, but no, Williamsville covered up the outside, covered up the inside. That's where you force a team to get behind the sticks. I see Catholic trying to get KJ Parker, number 14, involved real soon. They got to get their playmakers some touches.
Little play action. Knocked away, incomplete in midfield. On the coverage, Gage Knowles. Here's the starting lineups, brought to you by OSF for IC Catholic. Dennis Mandela leads them out there. Joey Gliatis carried the ball a couple of times, and you're right, KJ Parker needs to see that ball. JP Schmidt goes both ways. Again, a little play action. Open over the middle. From the 50-yard line, now inside the 45, but there's a flag out. The completion went to Eric Karner. And everybody seems to be walking back near the 25-yard line.
Carter at 6'5" just snatched that ball out of the air. Everybody walking back. Williamsville fans loving what could be a chop block below the knees there. And that will negate a real throw, real fine throw and
illegal
catch.
block below the waist. Number 33 on the offense. Repeat. 3rd down.
So a big gain is wiped out as we get our call from Dean Magro, the referee for tonight's game.
You see that chop block right at the knees, if you will.
Should say that is Jeff Purcell, the referee tonight.
Kyler Ripperda looked like he had a shot at the quarterback, but no, he was blocked illegally.
A little bit of room to the 20, 25, still short of the first down, well short of the first down. That completion goes to Joey Galata. Again, the rest of our officiating crew, Matt Reese, Mark Schultz, D. Ray Tucker, and Cody Mayfield.
They set up a screen pass. They just tried to be safe right there, not try to make a mistake, you know, inside their own 20-yard line at that point.
60 seconds to play in the first quarter. Mandela short punt formation, looks for a little space. And Williamsville will have outstanding field position in the final minute of the first quarter, leading 3-0.
Williamsville has been in control of this football game so far on both sides of the ball and throw in the third phase special teams. One mistake by IC Catholic as well. And the Knights have not played their best football as of yet. Head coach Bill Kreff knows that as he ponders things on the sideline.
79-3 advantage and yardage gained. Williamsville over IC, and they'll have the ball here starting from the 46-yard line. And on the late pitch across midfield once again into IC territory. It'll be Mason Lineker with it. I have to tell you, Marcus, we talked about how the yardage almost dead even for Williamsville in this season. I did not expect to see this ratio of run to pass.
Well, we talked about their offensive line playing very well of late. And when they find something working, they're just going to keep pounding at it.
And that is Seaman going off left guard and tackle. Noah Hockey left guard. Matthew Crouch, the left tackle.
So you go that previous play, Lineker on the pitch because Seaman's such a threat to run. They key on him. He pitches right there. If the quarterback run, you get an extra blocker. That's right, because he's not handing the ball off. An extra hat trying to get to the second level. That's the advantage of the quarterback run game.
Motion from Lineker. Seaman on the slant. And it's broken up. Nice job on the coverage from Caleb Ellis. Intended receiver was Jackson Workman.
That's an RPO action. Option to run or pass. Really good defense breaking on the ball right when the cut was made on this little skinny post.
Once again, Seaman to the near side. Catch is a good one. Calvin Fleck pulls it in.
Calvin Fleck.
3-year basketball starter. Sets up a third and manageable. About third, maybe about 6. And I feel like the pace is picking up here for Williamsville. They're getting the line that much quicker here.
And that's what they want. This is probably a 2-play call. Once again, I think they'd probably go for it if they get any kind of positive yardage on this play.
Penalty flags out. We've had a few of those here in the first quarter.
False start, 58, it's the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
That will cost Williamsville 5.
So when you have 2 excellent teams and 2 teams have dominated their opponents like these 2 have, sometimes it's turnovers that turn a game around. Sometimes it's self-imposed, especially dead clock penalties that put you behind the sticks that really can hinder your offense to keep consistency.
Third down and 11. Williamsville's converted 4 of their 6 third downs here in this quarter. That pass complete, but not enough for the first down. They'll get it out to Ethan Hines. And that will leave a 4th and manageable, and that will wind down the clock to the first quarter. The Williamsville Bullets, 12-1 on the season. They have dominated time of possession. They have dominated yardage. They have a 3-0 lead after 1 here at Memorial Stadium in your Class 3A state championship, matching a pair of teams, both with only 1 loss.
Welcome back to the IHSA State Championship. Williamsville leading IC Catholic 3-0. The Bullets took a page from former Ohio State head coach Jim Tressel's book, literally and figuratively. In Tressel's Winner's Manual book, he talks about what makes the Block O core values of Ohio State's football team. Coach Kuhn said, well, what's going to be in our Block W? What do we want our guys to value on and off the field? He said, relentlessness, accountability, above-the-line excellence, and remember, in big games like this, you don't need to be a star to be excellent.
Thank you very much, KC, as Williamsville picked up that first down on 4th down, 7th first down of the game for the Bullets. I see 0 first downs in that first quarter.
It's been all about Williamsville ball control. I see no first downs. They've only been on the field, 6-7 plays total in this football game. Field position, definitely the advantage for Williamsville as well, yet only a 3-point lead.
Quick release from Seaman. A little bobbling catch, but a catch it is. I'll tell you what, Mason Whitaker knows that if he'd been able to catch that cleanly, he had about 5-6 yards ahead of him, and as it is, he gets about 5.
Good recognition. A little skinny post. Lineker caught that ball right on the break, on time, on target. Was the quarterback Seaman, who has impeccable ability to release the football at the exact time his runner comes out of a break.
This time it's Sharp along the left side. Sharp will dive up to the 20-yard line. That'll be enough for another first down, the 8th of the game for Williamsville.
See, Sharp is so well running laterally. Yes, you want to run north and south of football, but he's got so much speed. Inside handoff there. Watch his vision. A little bit of cut. Plants his left foot. Cuts back inside. Moves the sticks.
Quickly, Seaman to Lineker. Nothing doing. That'll be a loss of yardage on the play. It was Schmidt once again right there, number 13. Put the clamps on Lineker. That'll be a loss of a yard.
Schmidt has had a very impressive first, 13, 14 minutes of this football game. An INT, couple solo tackles. That time one-on-one out space. Sure tackler.
Seaman has Sharp right behind him. Seaman looking to run the option. He'll turn it up. He'll get another 5 yards, 6 yards. And that's the chunks that Williamsville's getting right now. 4, 5, 6 yards a carry.
Seaman just carrying out the play fake, carrying out. He sees the outside linebacker go with a pitch man, so he turns it upstairs, up downtown vertically on that play.
12th play of the drive on a slant. There's a score. Touchdown pass from Jake Seaman to Jackson Workman, 16 yards. And Williamsville jumps on top 9-0.
That was an absolute seed. Workman gets separation at the goal line, a post pattern, if you will, beats his first man, and Church is out. He gets that one all alone, on time, on target again with Seaman, who's off to a pretty good start throwing the football, the All-State quarterback.
Looking for the extra point is David Jenkins. 25 of 33 on the season.
Start. Number 75 on the offense.
He'll have to do it from about 5 yards farther back.
Williamsville just dominating here the early parts of this football game, and surprisingly doing most of it on the ground, even though that one was through the air for a touchdown strike.
And with that, the Williamsville Bullets, a 10-0 lead over IC Catholic. Jake Seaman's done it with his legs. He'll put it in the air, and that's a score to Jackson Workman in a 10-zip lead. I believe some folks in Elmhurst and maybe across state are a little bit stunned with the domination of Williamsville here. 10 minutes to 3 minutes time of possession, and the Bullets just ripped off another 12-play drive.
Well, they've been impressive. They take good care of the football. They've moved the sticks. They've had manageable third down situations the entire time, and I believe they have done it with the balance that was maybe unexpected. Thought they might throw the football a bit more, but when you run the football as effective as they have, tackle to tackle, their offensive line has done a good job. They've pulled some people on their gap schemes and done a really good job against the front seven of IC Catholic and the Knights defense.
Jake Seaman 5 of 7 throwing the ball on that drive as Joshua Cakes. He does the kicking off for this Williamsville team, and he will look downfield at about the 10-yard line. will be K.J. Parker. He's touched the ball once today. That was on a previous kickoff.
And we'll see if Williamsville Scotterport intentionally kicks away from 14.
Little pooch kick will stay in bounds, but IC Catholic will recover, and they will have it at about the 34-yard line. Full day and days of football action here. We've gotten things started. 10 o'clock this morning, we saw Lena Winslow capture its third straight championship, 30-8 over Camp Point Central, and then an absolute thriller in 2A, 29-22. St. Teresa picks up the title, and then coming up, we've got Providence Catholic taking on Sacred Heart Griffin. 15 combined state championships in those two schools' history.
That 2A game went down to the final play of the game. Can't get much better than that for excitement, the state title game. And we got a good one going here, but IC's got to get a good one going offensively to get back into this football game.
This will only be the 7th play that IC Catholic Prep has run tonight. You contrast that with 9 first downs from Williamsville, and Denzel Gibson had nowhere to go. Looking at a Williamsville team, we said they only give up about 10 points per game. They had an interesting run here in the playoffs. When they needed to score a lot of points, they did. When they needed to play tight defense, they did.
Yeah, Caden Ratliff for Williamsville played some defense right there, moving laterally, making that stick on the sideline, one-on-one.
Mandel on the move. He's under pressure. Dennis Mandela was looking for J.P. Schmidt, and he felt the heat from the backside.
He gets flushed out. The play fake, nothing there at all because of the rush by Sam McCoy, the defensive line, 6'5", 170, who came from the blind side and made him throw it much Mandela faster than he wanted to.
3rd down and 10. Looking over the middle, deep. Now it's K.J. Parker. Parker with the reception. The move. K.J. Parker will score. We were waiting for the touch. It was a touch and go. Explosiveness from K.J. Parker. You're looking at a high Division I recruit right there, just a junior.
Talk about efficiency, 34 catches, 16 touchdowns. He catches half his passes are touchdowns. And once he caught the ball there, got over the top of the zone defense. Just too much speed, acceleration, and explosiveness for the first team All-Stater, one of the most dangerous 3A players in all of Illinois. 17 touchdowns, 18 now on the year overall. Speed to burn, acceleration, you just witnessed.
Brian Kolodjacek. And with that, we have a 3-point game. You are looking at one of the most explosive players in the nation. And look what he does with this one. He gets the touch, and the rest is all K.J. Parker. 65 yards, Mandela to Parker, and a 10-7 lead now for Williamsville.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Williamsville had a 10-0 lead, but 3 plays later, 45 seconds later, and after a 65-yard touchdown catch from K.J. Parker, they find themselves on top by just 3. Now, Bill Kreft has said on their plate chart each week they have one little corner set aside for K.J. Parker. All the plays for Parker. And I was wondering when they were going to get to that corner of the chart. They certainly did on this one.
And he just outran the defense after the catch. He is so explosive. He can make plays after contact. He can make big-time plays after the catch.
Teeing the ball up is Kolodjacek. And for IC, they consider the kickoff as the first play on defense on a particular possession. Whitaker and Sharp deep for Williamsville. Kolodjacek will hit it high, deep. And that will be a touchback. That will bring Jake Seaman back onto the field. 5'11" senior quarterback, school records, career touchdowns, yards, completions, and he broke all those records of somebody very familiar to him.
That young man grew up wanting to be and groomed to be like his dad, Matt Seaman, a quarterback of the Williamsville Bullets.
And there is Matt Seaman, number 17. I want to say that's old-time footage, but that would be not a kind remark from Mr. Matt Seaman, but you can see where Jake certainly gets it. He broke most of his dad's records, so it stays in the household. Jake on the ground on the late pitch. That'll be a loss of a yard. This year, Jake Seaman coming into this game through 13 games. Talk about big-time numbers. The All-Stater, 2,500 yards, 33 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. He has a touchdown pass tonight. And he will have the completion. Going up and getting it underneath the ball was Mason Lineker.
Boy, Lineker flat out lays out for this ball. He throws this football where only Lineker could catch it on the RPO once again. Gets that ball right downtown for 20 yards, an explosive play.
A very quick snap and a short pickup on first down. Seaman will keep it.
Lineker's been pretty active in his own right tonight. A couple carries, a couple catches. There's Seaman. You see those numbers, 33 touchdowns coming in against 6 interceptions and over 2,500 yards. Big-time numbers.
63% completion percentage, and that percentage will increase right there in the first down pass to Ethan Hines.
Ethan Hines is their leading receiver, 61 catches coming in, 13 touchdowns, so he's the go-to guy. Great symmetry between Hines and Seaman, but Seaman will indeed spread the ball around.
Seaman's already thrown the ball 13 times tonight.
Second charge timeout of the half.
IC Catholic will take its second timeout of this game. It comes with 8:20 to play in the second quarter.
See a good timeout by IC because they're back on their heels just a little bit on this particular drive, or on every drive so far. So they get a time to regroup. IC Catholic defense coordinator Roger Kelly, his 11th year on the season, has his team huddle around him trying to figure out how to stop the option game and the RPO game that Seaman is exploiting right now.
You know, and you saw Bill Kreft out there in that defensive huddle for all of about 5 seconds, right? He lets his coaches coach, and he admits as much.
Yeah, they got to score some things up on the back end as well, and Matt Bowen is in charge of the defensive backs, former NFL player, and we've seen them play man. We've seen them play a little bit of zone, try to mix it up. It's all about disguising, changing the picture, if you will, for the defense, or for the offense to look at by the defensive coaching staff.
Here's how Williamsville made their trip to Champaign. We mentioned that when they needed to score points, they did. 48-41 in the first and third games, and then squeaked out a couple of wins over Eureka, and then most recently Tolono Unity to come right here to Memorial Stadium for the second time, looking for a second state championship. Last time they were here was 2019 when they won it all. Not much room for Seaman on that one.
Big Seaman on the carry.
Good pursuit. Number 52, Jesse Smith, leads this team in tackles with 96. Jesse Smith injured just about a month of the season, still led the team in tackles, but he's come on strong here in the playoffs after sitting out those last 4 weeks of the season.
And 14 for IC Catholic. KJ Parker in a single safety way back at about the 35-yard line. It's his job to not let anything get behind him.
And that will not get even to Parker because it's picked off. right there again. J.P. Schmidt, his second interception of this game, will give the Knights the ball.
See how key was that timeout? Good adjustments by Roger Kelly, defensive staff. A single high safety, but Schmidt's playing a corner. He just broke on that football, cut right in front of the would-be receiver in Jackson Workman for Williamsville, creates a second turnover, and that's a big one for the Knights after they had just got an explosive play with K.J. Parker. How long will it be till they target Parker again? If it's me, I'm coming back at him as soon as I can.
J.P. Schmidt came into this game with 2 interceptions. He's doubled that number here in the first 15 minutes of this game. Mandela looking to strike. Slant over the middle. Nearly caught, nearly intercepted. Joshua Cates there in the coverage.
Chance to get the turnover right back. And just a little bit too tall to make the catch, and not able to get an interception on the defensive side. So another bullet here for IC Catholic to work with.
Caleb Ellis, the intended receiver. Working from the 38. That pass may have gone backwards. It will go out of bounds. Denzel Gibson was the intended receiver, looking to get him out in space. So a 3rd down and 10, and the last time it was 3rd down and 10, it went for 65 yards and a touchdown.
K.J. Parker split to the field side as far as you could be. Looks to have one-on-one coverage with a cushion. We'll see what kind of route he runs here.
Looking his way. Nothing there. Here comes Mandela. Looking for the first down, and he'll have it near midfield.
Mandela, good recognition. You're right. They were looking for K.J. Parker. Then he went through his progressions. Nothing. Deep drops by Williamsville. Mandela with good recognition, knows where the sticks are out. Presence of mind to know where the sticks were at. Gets out of bounds, moves the chains for IC Catholic.
It's just the second first down of this game for IC Catholic. Their first came on that 65-yard touchdown pass. Fresh set of downs here. Gliada, nothing up the middle. Nothing to the left side. He may get a yard. That's it. You know, Joey Gliada, I talked about how he had these 181, 192-yard rushing games. Well, he had the 181 against Princeton in the quarterfinal. Prior to that game, he had only carried the ball 6 times. In fact, Princeton coach Ryan Pearson from Princeton said, I didn't even see him on film. Well, that's right, coach, because 6 carries through the entire season.
And he can play 3 different positions and knows them all well.
They get the ball into the hands of Parker. And he has company.
That kind of play is a big pick-me-up for those purple shirt defenders of Williamsville, because they know that he's All-State. They know he's got a target on his back. And watch the pursuit. Bring the hats to the party. 1, 2, 3 purple shirts right around the All-Stater. So he cannot get yards after the catch.
Joshua Cates in on that stop. And that play was really made by Caden Ratliff, the outside linebacker, that kind of held Parker up just a bit. Held his block, and no room for Parker. 3rd and long. Mandela on the run. He was looking for Parker. It will be 4th down and 8.
So this between and betwixt, once again, this is like the 3rd time we've seen a team with a decision to make at midfield.
Mandela is averaging 28 yards per punt, and he will kick this away. From the 18-yard line, Ethan Hines. And his team will start from the 19, right here at the midway point of the 2nd quarter, and a 10-7 lead for Williamsville. Talked about IC Catholic being able to score some points. Well, they certainly did in the first-round win, 63-0 over King. Put 42 on the board. We mentioned that Princeton game. That went to overtime after IC was trailing 20-7. And in a real eye-popping score, 35-0 over Byron, the defending state champs, last weekend. Flag thrown on the far sideline.
A different alignment for Williamsville. And that's why they were caught with this 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty, first down.
You get behind the sticks on first down, 1st and 15. All you want to do here is get 4 or 5 yards, and you have a 3-play call mentality here offensively.
You see Jackson Workman lined up in the end zone. They ran that play in the semifinals where they got Workman the ball on a sprint. And that time it was all Seaman. So that's setting up something here for later in the game.
Yes, sir. We have one play sets up another. There's no doubt that IC Catholic has that scout out. If you knew it from your prep, I guarantee they did, because these coaches have gone through hours and hours of film.
To the near side. Not much there. Well covered as Workman again with the carry. And all of a sudden you feel this IC defense kind of figuring it out.
Well, Workman got the ball out on the edge, but just pursuit by the 4-man front, if you will, of IC. Look at their safeties dropping deep now, knowing where the sticks are at. Their 2 safeties are about 15 yards back, protecting the first down sticks.
Seaman giving ground, and he'll just throw this away. First time all game that IC is forced a 3-and-out by Williamsville.
And a good time for them because they have it deep field position as well. Little play action pass and a nice rush, putting on pressure. He was flushed out first by the big defensive lineman, Jaden Sutton, who goes 6'3", 265. Jaden Sutton's as good as they get on both sides of the football.
One of the best players to ever go through IC, according to Bill Krepp. From the goal line. This will be good field position for the Knights. It'll tumble out at about the 47-yard line, and that'll give us a chance to go down to the field. And Casey Standahart.
Dave, thanks. The IC Catholic Knights have special award stickers for each player's helmet that means so much to this team and this program. Head coach Bill Krepp said players are awarded a knighthood sticker for football honors like yardages or catches. Their IC Pride sticker is awarded to players who show great effort and sportsmanship and represent the character of what the program calls an IC man off the field. And the sword stickers are for big-time plays. Safe to say, some of those sword stickers are going to be awarded after tonight's game, Dave.
Well, I don't know how much more room, Casey, they're going to have on the helmets because those are quite full of those stickers. Very unique in terms of all the different types of stickers. Well, thank you very much. And they are in great position right now to make something happen. Out in the open, they get it to Parker. They'll get about 5. KJ Parker's 3rd catch. They have all come here in the 2nd quarter.
Any way you get KJ Parker the football, whether it's reverses, whether it's bubble screens, whether it's go patterns, what have you, you want to get him to be the focal point of your offense and make the defense take him away. And hopefully you want to have him force the defense to create double teams.
Mandela looking right all the way, deflected off the hands of Ellis. It's intercepted by Williamsville. Caleb Ellis had a tip off his hands, and Nolan Bates comes up with the drive-stopping interception.
Another turnover. This time Williamsville takes it over on the ball. It was tipped up in the air. And both these quarterbacks, who have been incredibly efficient with the football, not turning it over, have turned it over a couple times tonight. There's the drop back, the tip into the air, just playing center field. Johnny on the spot, if you will, Nolan Bates, and he knows what to do after he catches it.
Williamsville very quickly wants to get things rolling, and rolled down is Lideker. Now Bates with a little bit of a limp coming off the field.
See, a lot of teams like the tempo after a turnover or a big play. Now Williamsville, they tempo a lot anyway. It doesn't matter, but like to go after an electric play.
After a loss of 2, Lideker will try the right side looking for a block, and he'll barely get back to the initial line of scrimmage when they started this drive after the turnover. So another 3rd down and long here for the Bullets.
You know, games are won and lost in the trenches. We know that. And right now, both defensive lines for each team are really controlling the line of scrimmage for their respective teams.
Williamsville 6 of 10 on third downs. Need 10 yards here. Seaman has to get rid of it in a hurry, but a penalty flag is out right about the 35-yard line. That's the yard line just about where Seaman let go of that ball. And that is what you would have expected. A holding call against the Bullets, and you would expect IC Catholic Prep to decline this one.
Yeah, we mentioned Jaden Sutton before. We were looking for him on offense, looking for him on defense. 54, the big fella for IC Catholic. He was about to put some pressure on the quarterback, and he was the player in the front that was held.
Number 57 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Referee Jeff Purcell filling you in on that call. You take a look at the holding call on the right side. Number 57 just out of your frame as the big guy.
Yeah, Jaden Sutton was the one that was held. And, you know, you talk about getting sacks, getting tackles for loss. They actually keep stats about how many times you draw a penalty because he is so good. He probably draws, you know, a holding penalty per game, number 54 in white.
The hop will come to Ellis. Not much room on that sideline, and he'll just step out of bounds and give IC the ball on the 36-yard line after the Knights defense, second consecutive 3 and out after Williamsville had dominated play through the first quarter and a half.
Aaron Coons, Williamsville team's been in control of this game, but yet only 3 points on the scoreboard. Coons, an Eastern Illinois grad, 25-year teacher, math guy, right?
Yep.
He knows his numbers.
In fact, he is only the second coach in Williamsville school history. The other, his father-in-law, the late Hall of Famer Paul Jenkins. In fact, the field at Williamsville is named for Paul Jenkins.
And Aaron and his wife Liz coming up on 20-year anniversary. Nice way to celebrate in Champaign.
Gliada, not much room. He's been quiet tonight. That's Joey Gliada. You speak of 20-year anniversary. This is the 20th year Aaron Coons has been the head coach at Williamsville. A second place finish and a state championship.
You know, Gliada was doing so well in the quarters and some of they started chanting Joey football. So he had his own cheer going on as the state finals went along.
He will get it again. Going is tough along that left side. Colin Ripperton, number 6, down to the bottom of that pile for Williamsville. Ripperton coming into this game with 129 tackles.
Gliada came in averaging 9.7 in those limited carries we talked about. But for the most part, he has been bottled up, keyed on, and mostly the front 4. It hasn't been the front 7. There hasn't been the DBs. The defensive line for Williamsville has been stout.
Crucial third down coming up to the 2-minute mark. Denzel Gibson will have enough for the first down near midfield. Gibson in the second round rushed for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. He has been so valuable, whether he's been in the backfield or at end.
Jaden Sutton got ISO right there. That young man missed his block there, but he hasn't missed very many. He has 21 pancakes just in the playoffs. That means he's flattening his guy out the line of scrimmage. Keep an eye on 54 all night long because they'll be running over him.
To the near side. Once again, Gibson. He breaks free. Denzel Gibson to the 10, to the 5. And IC Catholic has taken the lead.
Touchdown, IC
51-yard touchdown run from Denzel Gibson. 2 explosive plays for the lead for the Knights.
Gibson, 21 touchdowns overall. He busts that one to the outside. Read his blocks well, used his vision. Little quick pitch, so he starts going downhill already. Really nice cut back to the inside. And then he finds himself nothing but the orange end zone in front of him. And look at him celebrating. And look at the big fella. The guy's on the inside. That time Sutton just happy to see his guy go to the house. And Sutton's probably glad he didn't have to try to run with him.
Gibson got there in a hurry. Polojacek looking for the extra point. And it will not happen. That snap just rolling back, so the score will remain 13-10. Williamsville scoring the first 10 points of this game. Two big plays for IC Catholic, a 65-yard touchdown pass and a 51-yard run. Here's a look at how IC failed to get an extra point out of this. That's a kicker's nightmare right there.
Yeah, snap just came in too low. Caleb Ellis, the holder, that short hop, Tim, he wasn't able to come up with a clean. And we'll see if that turns out to be a big point in what right now is a 13-10 football game.
94 seconds to play in the first half. And, you know, usually we will stand here and we'll say, you know, the first drive of the second half is the most important in the game. I think this one right here, because IC Catholic's going to get the ball to start the third quarter, but this drive right here for Williamsville, to me, is crucial.
Yeah, and we'll see how the drive evolves after this kickoff, because it will all be predicated on field position. If Williamsville gets the ball about the 25, 30, 35-yard line, they'll stay aggressive. If this ball gets, you know, caught and tackled inside 10, 15, they probably will be a little bit more conservative in their play calling.
Last two drives, Williamsville with just 6 total yards, and that's after they stuck 76 yards on the board or in the stat sheet early in this game in their first couple of possessions.
Led this game 10-0, but of course, IC Catholic didn't come close to blinking two championship teams here tonight, 3A.
Looking for the sideline, Lideker. A little bit of an opening, and he will get to about the 20-yard line. Well, we talk about big plays. Denzel Gibson needs the ball in his hands as well. On consecutive plays, he got one to the left, and then this one came to the right.
6 foot 195, and what happens on that little pitch, he starts to go downhill right away. So once he got his shoulders square, then it turned into a sprint, and you're not going to catch him. Excellent runner, excellent defender. He usually lines up against the opponent's best wide receiver as well on the defensive side at a cornerback position.
You see Mandela get a little bit of elevation that time from Sutton. Nifty move to the outside and then again to the inside. To the 30-yard line and a first down for Workman. Couple of good moves from the 5'11", 185-pound senior.
And what this play does is they basically take Workman back, what, 15, 12, 15 yards? What they does is that helps him to go downhill and keep moving in full speed as he catches the ball.
This will go for negative yardage to the near side, and the carry was Harley Sharp, who has been quiet here tonight. Sharp coming in, averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. Over 500 yards rushing this season.
He's got 10 catches on the year out of the backfield. They have not utilized him on any kind of wheel route. We'll see if that happens in this last 50 seconds out of the backfield.
After a loss of 3, Seaman to the air. Dangerous pass, but it's pulled in by Hines. We'll set up a third down and long. Williamsville trying to avoid its third consecutive 3 and out.
Caleb Ellis with a nice one-on-one tackle in space. But again, using the boundary as a clock stopper in basically a 2-minute offense right now if you're the Williamsville Bullets.
Hines with 3 grabs tonight. And another one there. And that will not be enough for a first down. 2 yards short. 36 seconds left. 3 timeouts remaining for Williamsville, just 1 for IC. Williamsville will take the timeout.
Yeah, they used their first on 4th and short.
You feel like this is a must go in this situation with 36 seconds to play and a half down by 3?
I don't think it's a must go. I think right now you're in a 1-possession game. You're going to halftime, and the last thing that you want to do, I would think, is not convert and give IC Catholic the ball, you know, in a very short field. So we shall see. The Knights were playing, they're usually a single high safety team, 1 safety really deep. It's been KJ Parker. They were playing twin safeties right there, and they were still about 15 yards back saying, you can catch anything you want in front of us, but we're not going to give you the home run ball. Bill Kreff going with the shorts look, huh?
Well, I wonder if we'd have been playing, you know, I did not notice that when I was looking at film, whether he wears shorts in any kind of weather, because the last 3 weeks have been brutal. Whether it be wind, rain, snow. And here in a pretty nice night here in Champaign, he goes with the shorts. And speaking of short, a couple of yards here for a first down on 4th down.
They're going to try to verbally draw him offside, but they didn't.
Ripperda gets the call. He gets the first down. That's money. Colin Ripperda. We saw him a lot early when Williamsville was moving those chains and setting up third and short. He gets a first down there.
Crouch and Finley on the inside, open up a hole. Ripperda says, I'm following you through to get to the sticks and keep the drive alive on a crucial fourth down play. They got probably 3 plays left on this drive with 22 seconds to go.
Seaman to run it. Seaman in the middle of the field. Jake Seaman dragged down from behind, but not before he crosses to the 43-yard line. Marshawn Griffin with the stop after a 14-yard pickup from Seaman.
See what that 14 yards does with one timeout? It now gives them an opportunity to throw the ball to the end zone a couple times. You know, if you're back 50, 60 yards, you can't do that. You probably have 2 plays left. So the decision is, do you take 2 shots to the end zone, or do you take 1 shot like 15 yards and then your final shot from like 25 or 30 yards in? That's what they're discussing in that offensive huddle right there.
Seaman getting a little bit of attention there after this run. Followed big number 57 through that hole.
Little zone read. He cut that back against the grain. And you're right. Lyman's best friend in that case is following the big fella, Jacob Finley, all 6'9", 290 of him. Good guy to follow, 6'9".
Nobody can see you behind him.
Getting some Division I looks. And now his gait looks a little bit better. 2 safeties for IC Catholic, back 18 yards at least.
To the left sideline. And too much. The intended receiver was Hines once again. He was well covered. Not much room there for Ethan Hines. The clock shows 5 seconds to play here in the first half.
So now you have obviously just 1 play left, and you have 2 choices here if you're going to keep the ball upstairs. 1, throw it deep once again and try to get over the top, which you're not going to get over the top of this defense as deep as they're playing, or throw an intermediate route completed about the 25, the 30, 35-yard line and try to get the receiver to make a play in space.
Running a screen. They get it to Workman. Coming up quickly was Parker. There was no way he was going to get past K.J. Parker. And that will end the first half. So K.J. Parker making his mark on defense here on the final play of this half. And it was Parker made his mark on this game with the first score of the game for IC. And they will head to that locker room on top 13-10 here in your Class 3A championship game.
Really a solid half. Williamsville got off to the great start. IC Catholic showing some grit, showing some determination, showing championship caliber mentality. Next play came right back and a couple scoring drives of their own. And we've had a back and forth type of first half.
Williamsville will retreat to their locker room. They'll make some adjustments offensively. Strong early in that half. And Casey Standahar standing by with Bill Kreft.
Here with Coach Kuntz now. Coach, a strong start, taking advantage of those turnovers, up 3. How do you pull away in the second half?
Yeah, I know that's a good football team over there. I think we got to start executing a little better than we are right now. There's a couple of things that we need to do a little better to get us where we want to be.
What are those couple things? Can you share?
One, we got to get our right line. So we're running a little bit stupid in terms of like where we're going with the football. We have to stay on our lines and press and bend like we want to. On the other side of the ball, we're doing good at breaking on the football, but we got to be able to tackle in space a little better.
You said you wanted to make this Williamsville team nickel and dime you all the way through. How is that strategy playing out so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good football team, so they are able to take little things when they want it and execute, and that's a sign of a good team. We're just not going to allow big plays to happen on us, so that's what we're going to stay with.
Thanks, Coach. Dave, back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. That's Bill Kreft. He's bidding for his 6th state championship as a player-coach in his 6 years in the state championship game. And a leg up for the Knights, 13-10 after 1 half of play in a 3A title game.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights. and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger, united.
For extraordinary moments in life, you should never have to settle for ordinary healthcare coverage. That's why at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we put the extra in our plans. Extra me time to catch up on your faves, with telehealth visits included. Extra peace of mind, knowing a nurse line is here 24/7 for those unexpected moments. Visit us at bcbsilextra.com to enroll. Because extraordinary coverage should come with extraordinary extras.
How do you predict the future? You create it. You build a foundation, pave a path forward, soak up the journey, and turn experiences into something life-changing. At Illinois State University, we deliver on what every college should promise you: the opportunity and tools to write your legacy every day. The rest is up to you. What will you create? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student-athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student-athletes, and one goal: player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
A 3-point game at the half here in your Class 3A state championship ball game. IC Catholic scoring the last 13 after Williamsville opened up a 10-0 lead. Dave Bernhardt along with Mark Lindo here high atop Memorial Stadium. And, Mark, about an hour ago we stood here, talked about how both teams came into this game averaging over 40 points per game and allowing only about 10 points per game. What have you seen?
Well, I've seen both defenses take charge in this football game, Dave. What's happened is we have two legitimate, electric, outstanding playmaking quarterbacks, and the defenses have kept both of those young men under control. And I think the defense, whoever wins this football game, will be the team that plays well defensively, tackles the best in the second half.
Two explosive plays for IC Catholic. You got it to your two playmakers, KJ Parker and Denzel Gibson.
Well, two good players, both of them big-time plays in the open field. Speed kills, and that's one way you can beat a defense is by outrunning them.
Tell you what, let's head to the studio. Let's join Mark Kruger and Casey Standahart.
All right, Dave Bernhardt, thank you very much. You and Mark Lindo, great job. And we've got a great ball game here at halftime of this Class 3A state championship game. Mark Kruger along with Casey Standahart. And Casey, as this first half went on, I thought the game was getting a little bit more and more physical. Your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, Mark, that's so true. The energy just palpable in the stadium and definitely physical. The one thing both teams are going to have to do in the second half is eliminate turnovers. That's going to be the difference maker because Williamsville wants to stun this IC Catholic team, but they saw how the Knights, how physical they are, how resilient they are.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights, and it all started late in the first quarter by David Jenkins, and he's going to connect on a 23-yard field goal. That put the Bullets up by a score of 3-0. Early on in the second quarter, 10:15 to go, quarterback Jake Seaman is going to hit Jackson Workman on a post pattern, his 34th touchdown pass of the season for Seaman, the All-Stater. 10-0 Bullets. A minute later, 9:29 left, Dennis Mandela hits KJ Parker. Parker's going to go 65 yards, his 18th touchdown of the year, 10-7 Bullets. Then, at the end of the first half, you're going to see Denzel Gibson, and Gibson, the senior, he's going to go all the way. 21st touchdown of the season, 52 yards for the score. Extra point was no good. IC Catholic Prep leads it here at the break by a score of 13-10. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Knights secondary J.P. Schmidt. 2 picks in that first half. Outstanding job for him. Your thoughts in the second half?
Well, the second half is, like I said, we made Coach Kraft elaborate. What things do you want to do to pull away with this? And he said, defense, eliminating turnovers, cleaning up a lot of that, because if anything, the Williamsville team is going to run away with it if IC Catholic makes it easy on them. Eliminating those opportunities is going to be key.
13-10, Knights with the lead here at the break. We need to take a timeout, and we will be back with more from Memorial Stadium on the IHSA TV network. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Halftime of this 3A state championship game, and the Knights lead the Bullets of Williamsville by a score of 13-10. Time now for the first half stats, brought to you by LiUNA. Start your career in construction today at liunacareers.org. And you take a look at the numbers there, you see fairly even as far as the total yards go, 219 to 205. Slight advantage to the Bullets, slight advantage to the Bullets as well as far as the time of possession, as they are in control, actually, the time of possession. Nearly 16 minutes compared to the little over 8 minutes for the Knights. Those were your first half stats, brought to you by LiUNA. Start your career in construction today at liunacareers.org. Back with more from Memorial Stadium right after this.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights, and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger united.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
There are more than 20,000 ways to experience Illinois State.
Hey, what's up?
class.
What kind of Redbird will you be? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium here in Champaign-Urbana, the Class 3A state championship game. We are at the break. The Knights leading by a score of 13-10. We'll get to the third quarter in just a minute, but let's throw it to Casey Standahar with an interview. Casey.
Down here with Coach Coots. Coach, your defense not letting up until the second half. How would you assess the play of your secondary so far?
Well, we had one big breakdown, that gave on a pass play, and then they had a great run. We've given up two big plays. Other than that, the defense has been amazing. We've controlled the ball, and we just can't give up those big chunks.
Down 3 at half. How do you chip away at the deficit?
We just keep doing what we're doing and stop the big play. I'm really happy with how we played that first half. We got to stay physical and keep moving the chains and keep the ball out of their hands.
Thank you, Coach. Dave, back to you.
All right, Casey, well, actually, I'll take it here for just a second, and we are going to send it upstairs to the two Hall of Famers who are going to call the third quarter. My dear friends, Dave Bernhardt and Mark Lindo. And, guys, J.P. Schmidt, those 2 picks in the first half, pretty impressive.
Thank you very much, Mark. He comes into this game, as Bill Krepp said, maybe the highest IQ player he's ever had. As you see in these 2 interceptions, he doubled his interception total on the season. Right man, right spot, and really, as for Williamsville jumped out to a 10-0 lead. IC needed big plays like this.
Well, they did. They got it from the secondary with 2 interceptions by Schmidt, playing a little bit of center field at the cornerback position. Now he knows he's got a single high safety behind him, so he can jump routes if he wants, because he knows he's got some backside help. That was the first one that thwarted a drive, got his team back to football, and then interception number 2. He just read the eyes there, lays out for that one. And a big-time interception, 2 in the half, and that would keep that Williamsville football team, their offense, got them back on the boundary, which is so important because Williamsville wants to play ball control, possession football right now.
I really got the feeling, you had mentioned it, that first interception was big at the time. I really feel like that second one was one that maybe the tide really kind of turned defensively for IC.
Well, I think defense, got the ball to the offense. That's what complementary football is. All 3 phases contribute to each other. When your defense makes a play, then your offense gets the football back with a chance to get an explosive play or 2 like they did in the first half.
Let's head back down to the studio and Mark Kruger.
Dave and Mark, thank you very much. Halftime of this 3A state title game. The Knights lead it by 3, 13-10. We need to take a timeout, and we will be back for third quarter action from Memorial Stadium right here on the IHSA Television Network.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
From the days of the one-room schoolhouse, public schools have always been the heart of our community. It's where our students learn and are inspired to dream big, where we cheer on our teams under Friday night lights, and where parents, teachers, students, and loved ones come together as one. Now, more than ever, our public schools unite us. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Education Association, IEA, because we are stronger united.
This is the great state where you find hearts bigger, beating truer, and always wide open. Country miles with never-ending pride, virtues and values, and colors that run deep. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we were born and raised in the land of Lincoln. And like you, we'll always be here, standing for all. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, nationwide strong, Illinois born.
We welcome you back to Memorial Stadium here in the campus of the University of Illinois. That team right there in white with the 13-10 lead, the IC Catholic Knights. Dave Bernhardt, Mark Lindo upstairs, Casey Standahar down on the field, and Mark Kruger in the studio. And Mark, as you peruse those stats a little bit closer here from the first half, what'd you see?
What jumps out at me is that Williamsville's run 53 plays compared to 22 for IC. And we just showed J.P. Schmidt's interceptions, or Williamsville would have had like 60 plays, if you will. So they've been playing keep away, keeping IC's offense on the boundary. They need to do that quite a bit more in the second half. But I think right now, either a key turnover in this second half or whoever gets that one more explosive play offensively will take control of this football game.
8 games of football here over this Thanksgiving weekend. We've already gotten things rolling here today. We are in Game 3, a 13-10 lead. Early on, Lena Winslow picked up its third state title with the easy win over Camp Point Central, and then a ball game that came down to literally the final play of the game. St. Teresa hangs on, defeats Tri-Valley 29-22. Coming up, what an interesting game this will be. Sacred Heart Griffin, head coach Ken Leonard retiring. The all-time winningest coach in Illinois retiring following this ball game. He'll take on Providence Catholic, a 13th seed, a team at 9-4. Had to win that Week 9 game to get to the 5th win, but they have powered their way through the playoffs. They're led by first-year head coach Tyler Plant. So that is coming up tonight. And, of course, we have 4 ball games tomorrow. It starts all over at 10 a.m. with Class 5A. And we'll wrap it up tomorrow night with the 8A championship. So Aaron Coons wanting his defense to go to work here because Bill Kreff's team will receive this kickoff.
Yeah, and Aaron Coons, I think, told Casey at halftime, my goodness, he's happy the way his team's played. Just stay on the explosive plays. But defensively, they've been pretty good. You just know that KJ Parker, he can create at any time. Denzel Gibson had a big run as well. Explosive plays, speed in the open field might determine the outcome of this football game.
I don't know whether Joshua Cates is going to kick this ball deep enough for Parker to get a hand on the ball. He's joined back there by Caleb Ellis, and he will not, looking for an onside kick. It floats into the air, and a grab is made, and IC Catholic will have it after Nico Menos was right there and in great field position to start half number 2 for the Knights.
Short field, we'll see what adjustments that IC has made to try to get their playmakers ball in space. They just pooched this one up in the air. Very smart, fair catch call was made once the ball was upstairs so that the receiver wouldn't take a hit and have a possible turnover right there. As you see IC in their huddle, getting their instructions and coming out with their fine quarterback, Dennis Mandela.
Mandela in the first half, 5 of 11 for 81 yards, had that 65-yard touchdown pass. They'll start it on the ground. Short pickup near midfield. Straight ahead running for Gibson. We saw him get to the outside and scoot it for 51 yards in the first half. So this is the backfield. It's interesting how Bill Kreff used it. We talked about Joey Galata and how he had great games. Now Denzel Gibson in the backfield regularly here. Bill Kreff says we go with the hot hand. And evidently Gibson has that hot hand. He has the hot feet. Gibson brought down, but not until he reaches the 32-yard line.
So there's another explosive play. He got to the second level where speed is his advantage. 20 yards on that pickup as he's got a couple chunk plays. See a really nice block at the point of attack for IC Catholic. Their nice tackle in number 71, Isaiah Gonzalez. They really like him. He makes it all go, says their offensive line coach, Thomas Gibbons.
Gibson, 6 foot, 195-pound senior, showing some strength here. He'll get his third straight carry. The ball's dropped, however, on the exchange. Mandela right there.
We'll see as they get behind the 6 the first time. If Williamsville plays a 3-3 defense, they kind of stole, if you will, or mimicked the defense of Glenbard West, Chad Hetlett. They've worked with him and talked with him about the scheme of their front 6. So you see 3 down linemen, then they bring people off the edge as well. A little bit different look defensively. You see it right there, 3 down linemen, basically a 3-3.
Straight up the middle, Gibson. He's not hit for 10 yards. He's going to take it in. Denzel Gibson, his second touchdown of the night, and the lead is extended. 34-yard touchdown run for Gibson.
The celebration after he hit the end zone, he points to the sky. Gibson having a big time, the last 10 minutes of scoreboard clock. He has taken over the game with his athletic prowess. Little inside zone, big gaping hole. Can't credit anybody. You got to credit everybody. Makes one man miss. That's all there was at the second level. And then he just knew he was going to get the pay dirt. Really a nice run. Getting a little bit of bets on the back on his sideline.
Another tough snap to catch the hold, and they survive. Good job by Caleb Ellis on that hold, but a 34-yard touchdown run for Denzel Gibson. His second of this game, and the lead is doubled 20-10 as IC Catholic has scored the last 20 points of this game.
IC Catholic, the first drive of the second half. It took them just 135 to get to the end zone. They had the short field to work with on the pooch kickoff, if you will, to the 45-yard line. 4 plays, 55 yards on that drive, and extra point bobbled, but a really good hold. Ugly but effective.
I'll tell you what, Kolojicek did a great job. It's kind of like trying to hit a changeup, right? You started your swing, but here is Gibson, no change up here. It was a fastball all the way.
Yeah, just a little inside zone blocking, and everyone sealed their man properly. Vision was there, acceleration was there. The 6 points were there after the carry by the speedster, 6 foot 195, Denzel Gibson.
6 carries, 115 yards for Gibson. And how about the 3 scoring plays for IC? 65, 51, and 34.
Gibson will be playing FCS St. Thomas next year. They got themselves a good one.
Kolojicek, they'll send it in to that orange end zone here at the University of Illinois. And Williamsville will start from the 20.
So part of the storyline, too, is field position as of late, because we saw IC start with a short field on that opening kickoff of the second half, and now an 80-yard field for Williamsville to have to survey and get through here, as we're going to see IC continue to play soft on the back end, keep the ball in front of them.
Jake Seaman threw the ball 21 times in the first half, completed 12. He also rushed 13 times, so 34 yards from the All-State quarterback. Negative yardage here on first down. Colin Burge with that carry.
Joey Galata, great one-on-one tackle in space. Inside handoff. And just driving right through the ball carrier. Really nice tackle, one-on-one by Galata. 5'9", 165.
That carry will set up a third down and long as Ripperda gets off the bottom of that pile.
And Jesse Smith. It's third down, 3rd and 7.
Seaman looks to the near sidelines. New personnel into the game. And he will retreat to throw. Short of the first down. Nice job defensively once again by IC, and they have settled in after those first couple of drives by Williamsville tonight.
Yeah, a little inside screen. They got the ball out of the perimeter. Blocking scheme was set up to bring the ball back to the interior. It's a matter of shedding blocks and making plays. And IC, we talked about it at halftime, whoever tackled the best in the second half would probably win this football game. That with explosive plays. Well, IC's got the early advantage in both those categories.
That snap floats back. And this will be once again excellent field position for IC Catholic. The Knights scored the last touchdown of the first half. They score the first touchdown of the second half. They have scored 20 straight points, and they have it doubled up on Williamsville.
We are back. IC Catholic leads Williamsville 20-10. Bullets defensive back Nolan Bates has found success in both football and cross country. During the COVID year, Bates asked Coach Kuntz if he could try out cross country since there was no football season in 2020. Kuntz acknowledged that they never had a player play 2 sports at one time. However, he told Bates, "We can make it work." Bates would run in the morning and then on Mondays and Wednesdays while the offense was practicing, and then he would rejoin the team for defense. Kuntz was impressed with how Bates was able to play in a Friday night football game and then go run on early Saturday morning. He said it's amazing how he's able to handle a physical football game and then sprint his heart out.
Thank you very much, Casey, and that's really special right there.
That is really special. It's unique because you really need to have the cooperation amongst the coaching staff of football, coaching staff of cross country, and let a young man use his abilities.
Once again, Gibson, as they try to strip the ball, still waiting on a whistle. And there we go.
Long rubbery scrum on that one without the whistle. And this is, you talk about the first possession of the second half. As explosive as Williamsville is, I don't think they can chase another touchdown by IC. I don't think they can. The way IC Catholic's defense has done a great job here.
The toss to Gibson. And this looks like when IC Catholic was trailing Princeton in the quarterfinal game, and they all of a sudden went to Gliata, and Gliata was hot. Here in this game, IC trailing, they find Gibson. Gibson's hot. He gets the ball.
Yeah, you go the hot hand, and again, there is a rhythm between offensive line and running back. And a good running back will make an average offensive line look good. An average offensive line will make a good running back look good.
And again, another first down. Gibson is 6th touch in the last 7 plays for IC. And the chains will move.
McCoy, the first down for IC Catholic. At the 34-yard
inside handoff, bumps it to the outside. The previous play, they took a pitch again, tried to get him shoulder square going downhill. So they're trying to get him touches in a myriad of ways, in a myriad of spots.
Now 7 out of 8 for Gibson. And he's getting them in pretty big chunks right now.
Tackled by Nolan Bates.
That'll be about 6 yards. And the offense for IC starting to hurry it up. And Gibson, in fact, he got a little help that time from Jaden Sutton. Yeah. Sutton waved to the sideline, say, "Hey, my man is tired. He's tired.
Get him a break." Who's going to get the next touch? That's the question.
It's coming to the right side, and it will be Gliata. He gets down to the 20, get another first down, and now this offensive line appearing to wear down Williamsville. The offensive line of Sutton at 265, Darrell Taylor 200 pounds, Trey Harris in the middle at 270, then 265 and 285 on the right side. Leading 20-10. This is the first time that IC has been in the red zone. They've been running through the red zone, but they never snapped the ball inside the red zone. Penalty flag is down. And now they'll head back out of that red zone.
I think that's their 3rd or 4th, at least their 3rd false start, which that's somewhat surprising. You're going with the same quarterback, the same center. So you have to have that discipline as an offensive lineman.
So now back to a 1st and 15. Mandela to the air. The catch is made for a touchdown. Eric Carner turned inside, made the grab. Mandela found him 25 yards and a 26-10 lead.
Boy, he threw that ball up there, and a nice job by Carner with his concentration. Just not finding the football. Gage Knowles on the coverage, but Carner using his size at 6'5", 200. They throw the ball up to him. You would say high pointed. He didn't need to. Just won that one-on-one matchup against the DB, Gage Knowles, for the touchdown. And IC has been in explosive mode here since trailing 10-0.
Kolojacek will send it through. 27 straight points scored by IC. They have turned a 10-0 deficit. 2 touchdowns here in the third makes it 27-10 Knights.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Right there, you are looking at Eric Carner, wide receiver, 6'5", 200-pound junior. He's mainly a run blocker. However, he pulls in that touchdown grab. Second touchdown pass thrown by Mandela. And it will be Williamsville to get their hands on the ball here, and they'll have to do something with it. It's been very quiet last, quarter? A little more than a quarter here for the Bullets.
Amazing 35 touchdown passes right now for Mandela.
Wolojacek, a line drive kick. On the return is Harley Sharp, and they'll be inside the 20-yard line. Let's take a look back at that touchdown pass from Mandela to Carner.
Yeah, well, hands up against one-on-one coverage. What's happened is IC Catholic's been running the football effectively, so this is the typical running game setting up the passing game. They get one-on-one coverage here, just a little bit of an outside route, throws the ball back to his inside shoulder right there, and catching that ball in stride, winning a 1-1 matchup with an excellent pass right there, the touchdown.
Some room to the outside. Tumbling down is Workman. On the stop for IC is Jesse Smith.
Smith. Williamsville might hurry up even more now. A little bit more desperation as far as time is concerned.
That one is nearly picked off, knocked down, however, by Nathan Schmidt. Boy, doesn't this defense look so much more confident than they did even late in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, they started reading their keys. They started keeping their eyes where they belong, and they've been everywhere in spots they're supposed to be.
Siemens able to bounce forward, squirm forward. Marshawn Griffin with the tackle, but not before the chains will move and set up the first down. Clock running underneath the midway point here in the third quarter.
You've talked about Marshawn Griffin a few times tonight. He's been very active chasing down the football.
Well overthrown. That was Ethan Hines who was in the vicinity, and that just got away from Seaman a bit. All-Stater Jake Seaman, 3-year starter on the basketball team. You know, you hear a lot of coaches refer to that 6-week COVID season as Seaman dives forward, and Aaron Coons really thought that 6-week season was really important to the development of Jake Seaman. You've heard a couple of coaches say that, younger players being able to get some different kind of experience.
Yeah, and he was on the sidelines in 2019 for Williamsville, so he's been around Williamsville football since he could walk.
Talked about his dad, Matt, earlier. Record-setting quarterback before his son came along. Fourth down here for Williamsville. And forced to punt. Ethan Hines will go back. That is not the drive that Williamsville needed right there. Ellis along with Parker at about the 35-yard line. Hines looking to throw it. He will. And just misses his intended receiver. He was looking for Gage Paul, and the ball floated a bit, and it will be great field position here for IC Catholic. So looking to pull something out of the trick bag.
Bullets had to try to make something happen. They showed punt formation, stepped up into the pocket, throw the football, and just got that ball on his back foot. He threw that ball on his back foot, nothing on it. And once again, the entire second half has been short fields for IC Catholic.
Well, there was actually a penalty in that play as well, an eligible receiver downfield. Well, the defense for IC Catholic stands tall once again. It's now time for our Menards play of the game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. The IC Catholic defense.
There's Schmidt with a pick, one of his first two in the first half. And there's a second one as he lays out for that ball, catches it in stride.
Mandela looking for it all, looking for Carter once again, and this one's just a bit overthrown.
Go back to the 6'5" target. You may as well. Caught a ball in his previous throw for a touchdown. Had a little bit different matchup there on first down.
Mandela 5 of 12 in the air. He does have 2 of those 5 completions ending up in the end zone. A couple of touchdowns for the junior. New running back into the ball game. That's Malik Gray. Very high on Gray. He is also a senior. You've got Gray, Gibson, and the third string running back, Liotta.
Yeah, Gray's 5'10", 200. So you see the chiseled body he has. Very little body fat on him. And believe me, he would be a feature back on an awful lot of football teams.
Mandel, a little dump pass here to the near side. He gets it to Gibson. Gibson bounces off one man, 2, and he'll get to the 15-yard line. Defenders bounce off of number 7.
Yeah, he's just like a pinball. Bing, bing, bing. He just bounces off. He is really right now doing the speed, but like an M&M, making guys miss on that particular run. Little inside screen dump pass. We mentioned his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He showed it right there.
That went for 12 yards. Mandela quickly on the slant to Parker. Parker shakes free and scores. How about that full speed stop, turn, and score for KJ Parker?
What a well-run route. On time, on target was his quarterback. He's got his favorite receiver in Parker. Mandela hits him right in stride on the break. Made one man miss at about the 14-yard line. You can celebrate, young man, because you just made a fantastic play, one-on-one, finishing that ball into the end zone.
3 possessions in this half, 3 touchdowns for IC Catholic in 8 minutes. And this one cleanly through. And IC Catholic flexing its muscles here as KJ Parker takes in his second touchdown reception for a score tonight.
Just a little skinny post, and once he caught that football, he is just so dangerous with the ball in his hands. You know, he just snatched that ball out of the air. His coach said he's got the best hands he's ever seen. Now, we know that a lot of guys catch tennis balls in practice. He squeezes bags of rice to make his hands and fingers stronger, because great receivers catch the ball with their hands. They don't bring the ball into their body. He is a great receiver. Power 5 conference offers already for KJ Parker.
All you had to see is those 10 seconds right there of the 2 different things he can do, the hands and the feet. We've seen him go for 65 yards as well. 34 straight points now scored by the IC Catholic Knights.
You know, we always talk about the red zone. Nick Pino tells us when a team's in the red zone, you're always in the red zone when you have KJ Parker on your team, because he can make a house call any time from the 1-yard line to the 1-yard line to the other end.
Wojciech with the high kick. We've seen various types of kicks tonight. Now run a little reverse to Workman. Workman needs a block from the outside. He'll cut inside. Jackson Workman. Workman needs one more block, and he'll be tripped up. Joey Gliotta, the last man, and Workman thought he had something there. Big return, however, for Jackson Workman. 66 yards on that return.
I tell you, kudos to special teams here, because one thing is to call the reverse. They did that. But watch the blocking on the right side of your screen. Look at that setup. 1, 2, 3 blockers out in front. And that's what causes a 66-yard return to be possible.
So the Bullets will have it from the 30-yard line. A short pickup on first down. It's Braddock Cates on the carry. Cates 5'11", 170-pound sophomore. Once again, short pickup. Once again, it's Foley Calcagno with the tackle. 5'10", 185-pound freshman for IC Catholic.
Bill Kreft said Williamsville is amongst the most physical teams they played all year, and Williamsville is. But I tell you what, IC Catholic matching that right now. They had to tackle well. They have tackled extremely well fundamentally tonight.
Just out of the reach here in the near sideline. Once again, Seaman was looking for Jackson Workman. He's been a busy guy tonight. Remember, coming up, we have one more game to go tonight. 4A. It'll be the final game in the coaching career of the all-time winningest coach in Illinois, Ken Leonard, as he brings his Cyclones from Sacred Heart Griffin back here to the title game. And he'll take on Providence Catholic on fourth down. And that bounces in, and after 2 successful attempts at fourth down tonight, that one comes up unsuccessful, and IC Catholic will have a 2:55 to play in the third.
So Williamsville gets the big 66-yard kickoff return. Joey Gliotta with basically a touchdown-saving tackle on that. Then they put the hands, the defense in the out in front, and IC is able to get that stop after one initial first down.
Both of these teams came in 12-1 on the season. The only loss suffered by IC Catholic came in the second week. That was a 23-22 loss to Joliet Catholic. Bill Kreft said, we learned a lot from that game. That was a ball game they felt they could have and should have won. Here's a completion into their sideline. And outracing everyone is J.B. Schmidt. What a night he has had. The fourth touchdown pass from Mandela. 2 interceptions now for Schmidt, and a long touchdown pass of 74 yards for the score.
Boy, Schmidt right in stride as well. Mandela has been just in the pocket with poise and creating possessions, long, explosive touchdown plays. First down pass. He gets it out one-on-one again. And Schmidt now with 3 catches. 1 on offense and 2 on defense. That one goes to the house for 74 yards as it's been an explosion offensively for IC Catholic.
Getting a workout from the right leg. And another good extra point from Brian Kolojacek. It is 41-10. Remember, it was 10-0.
Yeah. Really a nice job looking at his receiver, and you're not supposed to just look at one guy, but when he's open, you look at him, you don't need to make any progressions. You just get the ball to J.P. Schmidt in stride, and he has really spread out the wealth of his receiving core tonight.
So looking back, you take it touchdown late in the first half. That came with about 1:34 to play in the first half. 5 touchdowns for IC Catholic in a span of less than 11 minutes in this game. That's explosive. Every time the Knights have touched the ball this quarter, it's ended up in the end zone.
You know, this all started with the running of Denzel Gibson.
Yes.
And he was basically, along with the offensive line, running the ball right into and past the Bullet defense. And then once the Bullet defense, okay, we're going to stop the run, then they put it in the right arm of Dennis Mandela, who has just been outstanding passing the football proficiency-wise.
Once again, the kickoff high, and it will get in. Kind of a risky move there for Cates. Or Sharp, rather.
I mean, you go back to Mandela, his last 2 passes are touchdown passes. That's efficiency. If you can throw the football any better, I don't know. He's been right on time.
Illinois High School Football Coaches Association All-State quarterback Dennis Mandela. 4 touchdown passes tonight. Seaman on a little shovel pass up the middle. It goes for about 3. He's able to get it to Mason Lideker. We will have a lot of plays run tonight. Both teams like to get it and go. That's enough for a first down as Hines will bring it out to about the 33.
Ethan Hines, we mentioned it earlier, he is their leading receiver. They want to get him the ball out on the edge as well, try to make plays. A little bit more balance in the receiving core for Williamsville.
Some room up the middle. The carry goes to Sharp. Harley Sharp playing in his final high school football game. Big hole for Seaman. He's able to get close to midfield for a first down.
Boy, what a great job by blocking by Harley Sharp on that play. He's the one that really sprung his quarterback. So watch 15 right there in your screen. Boom. Crushing block right at the point of attack. And his quarterback, Seaman, says, thank you very much.
To the near side. Sharp takes a hit. Fights forward. You know, I know when you and I work baseball together, Mark, you pull out your stopwatch. You maybe get times between pitches or maybe to first base. I need a stopwatch right now to find out how quickly Williamsville gets to the line after a play.
Yeah, they're getting their 10, 12 seconds and the next play is off, and that's the way they like to play. That's when they're best tempo. Now we have a timeout on the field.
Timeouts. IC Catholic, their first of the half.
Timeout with 1:17 to play in the third quarter. You talk about how many plays you can run when you do it that quickly. How about 71 plays run by Williamsville, and we've not even reached the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's absolute fast-paced football. And yet they find themselves only 10 points up on a big board. And that's the second time Coach Kreft has called a timeout, basically to aid his defensive coordinator, Roger Kelly, to be able to set things up.
Here's our Country Financial Players of the Game. Find out why over 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com for more info. Denzel Gibson, he has made things happen, especially here in the second half. And speaking of making things happen, you got Dennis Mandela throwing the ball, and he finds the right man, right spot. 4 touchdown passes tonight for Mandela.
Yeah, and that montage right there, you see him throw him to 3 different guys, so he spread the wealth around. J.P. Schmidt, the last one to get an opportunity.
Now Seaman will dive across the 40-yard line.
He is definitely a dual-threat quarterback. We saw him run early in this game. Look at who made that tackle. Other than 13, once again, Schmidt, who's been all over the field tonight.
Once again, Hines with the grab. Short pickup. Ethan Hines with his 6th reception tonight. Williamsville just 1 loss on the season. It was a tough one to Maroa Forsyth. 24-20, that came late in the ball game. So these 2 teams coming into this game, 2 losses combined for a combined 5 points. This one is deep and well overthrown. Intended receiver there was Workman.
Yeah, Jacob Finley, their offensive lineman, the 6'9" gentleman we talked about, he said that loss in week 7 was good for us, a wake-up call, if you will. And they woke up to the tune of winning games 8 and 9, weeks 8 and 9, and then through the playoff run to get to the state finals here in Champaign.
This spring, Williamsville, they were struggling with attendance and discipline, you know, at off-season workouts. And Aaron Coons, he had a meeting where he asked his players, if you want to be part of something special. Well, guess what? Things turned around, and here they are playing in their 3rd championship game since 2014. It's not going the way they were hoping for. It was early when it was 10-0, but that has turned.
Going back to the run game right there. Seaman carried, 3 of the last 5 plays. Calcagno right there with a one-on-one stop at the line. Right now, IC playing just 3 down linemen. Now they bring a 4th up the line of scrimmage.
6th time that Williamsville has been faced with a 4th down, and I don't know that Sharp got it. In fact, he may be about half a yard short. And the ball will go over with 19 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Excellent tackle by Michael Calcagno.
His 2nd solo tackle in a row. And they have done a really solid job. I've mentioned the tackling, but they've also done a really good job having what I call spatial awareness, knowing where they're at on the field, because they know defensively where the stick is at and where they have to line themselves up, drive a would-be ball carrier back to negate any kind of 1st down opportunity.
4 possessions here in the 2nd half, 4 touchdowns for the Knights from IC Catholic. Here is their 5th possession late in the quarter. Mandela to keep it this time. He'll get about 6.
Yeah, really good block by 71 Isaiah Gonzalez, 6'3", 285 on the right side, sealing the defensive end, which allowed his quarterback to get to the outside, pick up a really good 1st down piece of yardage.
Clock hits 0 to end the 3rd quarter, and a big one it was for IC Catholic. There's your score. Knights looking for their 6th state title in school history.
Illinois corn and soybean farmers have good news.
Number 11, right in the middle of your picture, that's junior quarterback Dennis Mandela. How about these numbers tonight for the All-Stater? 9 of 16, 192 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
What a night it's been. 37 touchdowns on the season now.
He's looking for more. Somehow that gets through to Schmidt. Up over 200 yards for Mandela throwing the ball tonight.
Well, Schmidt's dad, Bill, is a wide receivers coach. He's got to be pretty happy with his wide receiving core tonight. Watch him snatch that ball right there to get the ball right over the top of the defender on the outside for Williamsville. That was Carson Kohler, and somehow Mandela gets it right over him.
7th play, over 20 yards tonight. As Mandela to keep it, looking for a block. He's got it. Mandela the race to the corner, and he wins it. 44-yard touchdown run for Dennis Mandela. It's a Delta Dental 4th quarter touchdown. You can trust the tooth to protect your smile. Learn more at DeltaDentalIL.com.
How about that? 8 plays of plus 20 yards on the evening. Explosiveness. Yeah, we talked about it at halftime, right? Whoever tackled better and whoever had explosive plays. It's been IC in both those categories. They've held Williamsville's explosive offense to only 1 play as of 19 yards. That's their longest play. So the big-time play, the home run play, has gone to the Knights here consistently in the second half.
Looking for one more point, and they will get it. 48-10. Dennis Mandela is thrown for 4, and he does it with his feet here.
Little bit of a zone read. He reads it correctly. The handoff, on the mesh, they take the ball back out of the hands of the would-be ball carrier, Malik Gray. Mandela says, I see an opening myself. I keep it myself right there. He makes the decision, gets a really nice stalk block on the outside from his wide receiver, Eric Carter, and then he makes a house call. Touchdown number 11. Have a night, number 11. Mandela, Dennis, you have been really, really good.
All right, let me run down playmakers tonight. Okay, you're looking at Dennis Mandela right there. We've seen K.J. Park with a couple of touchdowns. We've seen Denzel Gibson with a couple of touchdowns. J.P. Schmidt has been a power on both sides of the ball here tonight, to say nothing of the defense that completely adjusted and has slammed the door on Williamsville.
Yeah, it's been a total team effort. They played pretty clean football. A couple of, illegal procedure, false start penalties offensively. Besides that, 1 interception. Everything else has been really, really solid fundamental football. And defensively, they gave up 10 points early. They only give up 10 a game on average. And that's what this Williamsville team that averages 40 has only 10 thus far tonight.
This ball hangs up a long time from the 3-yard line. This time they will fake the handoff, and it will be Sharp. They will carry it. Well covered there by IC. Well, we talk about explosive players. How about our next game? Class 4A, you've got some explosive players when Sacred Heart Griffin comes here to Memorial Stadium for the second time in 2 years, returning almost their entire skill positions players from last season's second-place team.
I might be 1 or 2 off, but don't they have like 26 of their top players back from that state championship team? And 5 basketball players that won the state title are on that team too, so they know how to win.
Well, inside shovel pass for about a yard to Sharp. Or make that to Lideker. They'll be taking on Providence Catholic team that was 4-4. A team that had played in one stretch of the season 3 consecutive state champions.
Yeah, they had to beat St. Lawrence the last game of the season just to get in.
And here they are. Seaman able to run away from trouble and find his man. Excellent job by Jake Seaman as he finds his favorite receiver once again, Ethan Hines.
Ethan Hines just kind of found a soft spot in the middle of the IC defense. IC playing very, very soft. Safety's playing back the 46-yard line, so 15-yard drop, just trying to get any kind of big play.
Remember in the first quarter, a little over the first quarter, it was plays that were going for 4, 5, 6 yards per carry. Every yard here has been hard earned in the second half. Second down at about 8. Option. The pitch. Well covered by IC. There was no place for Seaman to go. And for Mason Lideker, there was no place for him to go once he got the ball.
And it's all about reading your keys. Once again, who made a play right there? J.P. Schmidt. He stayed right at home. He had pitch responsibility, and he made a tackle one-on-one. Far right of your screen. Look at how deep the safeties are right there. That's how much give they're allowing in front of them.
Seaman's able to complete that pass, given that cushion. He finds Calvin Fleck.
How about the athletes you put at the back end? If you're IC, you got Caleb Ellis back there, you got KJ Parker back there, and they're basically just supposed to be protectors at the back end right now with this big lead.
Seaman to keep. Seaman across midfield. He has some room, has some open territory, and he'll take it up with a late flag down at about the 45-yard line behind Seaman. You know, I do have some bad news for IC Catholic opponents next year. Mandela, Gliotta, Ellis, Schmidt, Parker, Carner. All your skill position players, they're all juniors.
Holding.
Ouch. If you're an opponent.
Yeah. Yes. On the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat. First down.
Holding call will bring this one back a ways. It will be first down and 9. Of course, holding assessed from the point of the foul. Room to run. Good balance across midfield. Holes opening up a little bit for Sharp.
Impressed the way Sharp runs the football. He's got really good vision. You talked about his balance, agility, changes directions quickly. Really nice football player.
3 yards for Seaman. I'll tell you what, Williamsville's opened up the playbook tonight. They have used just about everything they have in it.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Well-coached football team.
Second place finish in 2014, one of the all-time great football games. Lost on a last-second field goal. Here's a deep pass from Seaman, and it did not get through double coverage there. Down towards the bottom of your screen, he was looking for Calvin Fleck.
Yeah, that's the two safeties were both there. It's hard to get the ball over two safeties playing 15, 17 yards back. They take a shot, which IC expected them to do. And those two white jerseys, 3 and 14, respectively, are the two safeties we've been mentioning during this drive.
Nice catch along the near side by Fleck. Williamsville being able to move the chains once again.
At the IC Catholic 34-yard line.
Short pickup for Sharp.
Carly Sharp, the ball carrier.
Williamsville, they talk about pride in the program.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that after this play, what's going on at Williamsville High School. Actually, what's already happened at Williamsville. Here's Seaman. Short pickup. But as you watch the film, or if you've been to Williamsville High School, you talk about an athletic facility, a football field. It's a pretty place there at Williamsville.
Yeah, they got new turf. They have new locker rooms. And especially locker rooms, you know, students, players, they love locker rooms. They like to have it as professional as they can be. And you put those kind of facilities in, and you get excited about dressing in there, competing in there, build team bonding in there. You grow up in Williamsville, you want to be a bullet football player.
Seaman comes in near side, able to thread the needle down there. Another first down at the 20-yard line. And he has developed an affinity for finding the 6'4", 170-pound senior Calvin Fleck.
Fleck with a nice route, turns to the outside. They get that ball in front of the corner, and the safety playing behind, they thread their needle right in between the two.
Fifth catch for Fleck, and this will go for negative yardage.
Boy, J.P. Schmidt, Defensive Player of the Year in his league, gets a tackle for a loss there. IC Catholic now with 6 TFLs on the evening. And Schmidt's got a bunch of tackles in his own right, along with 2 interceptions, along with a touchdown pass. He's been everywhere.
A lot of time for Seaman. Nice move on the outside. I'll get the ball near the 20.
If you're not careful, Schmidt's going to come and take your play-by-play job. He's done everything else tonight.
Well, he's got a long way to come up here to get it. He has 6 minutes and 50 seconds to do it.
Although Aaron Kuhn's son, Seth, he's going for a play-by-play job. Head coach of Williamsville, his son is calling the game for local radio tonight. Quite a story in its own right.
A floating pass out to the left side. A good block, and it's going to go for a score. 22-yard touchdown pass. It goes from Jake Seaman to Harley Sharp, and it's a Delta Dental fourth quarter touchdown. You can trust the tooth to protect your smile. Learn more at deltadentalil.com.
Sharp, no stranger to the end zone out of the backfield. That's his fourth touchdown reception as a running back out of the backfield. So well-planned play there. They got him ball out the flat in space. Spread the defense out. He was able to take that in untouched from about the 10-yard line where he caught the football.
Low line drive kick will go through, and it's touchdown for Williamsville. First points they've scored in a long time. They trail it 48-17. IC Catholic looking for the sixth state title in school history.
How do you predict the future? You create it. You build a foundation, pave a path forward, soak up the journey, and turn experiences into something life-changing. At Illinois State University, we deliver on what every college should promise you: the opportunity and tools to write your legacy every day. The rest is up to you. What will you create? Create your legacy at Illinois State University.
Black Friday is here at Menards, and we've got the perfect present for your loved ones. With something for Dad, Mom, and the kids. Everyone in the family will get what they want, even your furry friends. Enjoy the season and the savings. Deck out the tree and stuff your stockings with these great gifts at amazing prices. Hurry in and save big money. These deals won't last long. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Save big money at Menards.
Block eye here at midfield here at Memorial Stadium, the site of the IHSA State Football Finals. Closing in on the third game of the day. We'll have game number 4 coming up next. Sacred Heart Griffin and Providence. And tomorrow we started at 10 o'clock. Matt Rodewald and Jack McInerney will be along. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 4 more champions to be crowned.
Gotta love championship weekend. Great venue here, University of Illinois. Outstanding for these young men who work so hard to reach the state finals here.
I would say we can assume we will see some sort of onside kick here for Williamsville as Joshua Cates is ready to go at the 40-yard line.
IC ready for that. Has 9 people within 7 yards of the 10-yard line that they would have to kick the football.
They're going to go deep. Nobody back there, and it will hop once at the 10, coming into the 5. Got to pick it up. Nope, they'll just down it right there. Safe move. How about Dennis Mandela? In fact, he's down there to down the ball, but what a game that Mandela has had tonight.
Well, he has just been absolutely brilliant. He's thrown for 4 touchdown passes, 200 yards. He's rushed for 73 yards and a touchdown, and he spread the ball around to numerous receivers on the evening. Incredible efficiency, a passer rating of 223.5. You just can't get much better than that. His offensive line has given him time to throw the football, given him holes to run the football, and he has had an outstanding, brilliant championship game thus far.
This was a program that won 3 straight titles in 16, 17, and 18. Denied the last couple of times there have been state finals, but after a 35-0 win over Byron in the semis, they are sticking the points on the board here tonight. It was 48 unanswered points put up here by the Knights.
Delay game. IC Catholic. After this, first half.
So back at their 2.5-yard line. One more addendum to Mandela. It is coming to play tonight, but it's been the entire playoffs. Between he his foot elusiveness and his offensive line, he has not been sacked in the playoffs. Not one time. That's just crazy.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Looking to get a little breathing room there, chew up a little bit of clock. The carry will go to Malik Gray.
Malik Gray, the ball carrier. Tackled by Stephen Rexroad.
Malik Gray, their third running back that they've utilized tonight. They've utilized 3 throughout the last 4 or 5 weeks. Gibson being the feature tonight.
A couple of touchdowns from Denzel Gibson. And this is Joey Gliotta.
Had a brilliant quarterfinal game, a brilliant semifinal game.
They haven't needed him tonight. On the defensive side, they certainly have. Gliotta, a junior.
Third down, 3rd and 8.
You know, they knew that Gliotta could play all over the field. They knew that he could be a number 1 type running back when he entered the program. They knew his value, however, in the defensive side, and they've been able to work him in here offensively here in his junior year. And he'll get another shot at it here, and that's enough for a first down.
Gliotta's an all-state wrestler as well, and football coaches love wrestlers, and I mean that because wrestling is so much one-on-one, and you have the team sport. As you see Gliotta take this inside handoff here, square his shoulders, but what they love about that is because you're out there on an island one-on-one. In football, within the team concept, is about winning one-on-one matchups.
Looking for a block, and didn't quite get it. Enough positive yardage. And you might say, well, why are all these players still playing? Well, it's because that on this team, there are only 26 varsity players. Now, you can see, you look on the sideline, there's a lot of white jerseys on that far sideline, but they are freshmen, maybe some sophomore players that, of course, dress here for the playoffs, but only 26 varsity players for IC Catholic.
Yeah, that they can go to war with day in and day out. And the young kids get to practice right now and get a chance to see what it's like to be a knight or a bullet on the other side. You know, a big part of this, when you advance to the playoffs, is the extra preparation you get, extra practices. You practice, 20, 24 more times than you would if you did not make the playoffs, if you reach the finals. So it gives you that much more practice time, developmental time, and it gets the young kids a chance to experience the varsity program.
Gray again, the carry. Well, how many times have we heard coaches say, oh, yes, he dressed as a freshman and just had that whole experience that you just described.
Yeah, you're on the sideline, you're at practice, you're in scrimmage situations, you're in the film room, you're in the weight room, and you're still, even though you're in high school, you're looking up to the older guys when you're a young guy, and you say, hey, I want to experience that someday, and Bill Kreff's getting close to experience a championship. That's why he's smiling.
You know, in the first half, he wasn't smiling, but, you know,
so much.
When Casey was talking to him at halftime, there was that confidence about him. He may have not been happy about some things, but he was confident that things were going to work out, and indeed they have. Crossing midfield on the carry once again is Malik Gray.
So Nola with a tackle, but how about Gray right there? You know, we talked about 3 running backs, and he's running hard downhill, and just an awful lot of offense right now for IC Catholic.
3:24 and the clock running. IC has rolled up 509 yards of offense in this game.
And a big chunk of that is the last 3 quarters. They were stymied basically, you know, down 10-0 in this football game. They had nothing going early on.
Gray looking to get to the outside. They'll cut it back, however.
Malik Gray on the carry. Tackled by Nolan Bates.
Gray is senior. He's getting his last carries here in an IC Catholic prep uniform.
Well, I see they're like a lot of teams. They have pig roast. They have taco night. They have. You win a state championship, you're not going to go for tacos. You're going to tell coach, I want some ribeyes. Tacos won't quite do it, parents.
Yeah, it was fun during the season. Mandela watching that play clock wind down.
Managing clock very well.
A 48-17 lead. One thinks that Malik Gray will carry the ball every time here in the last 2 minutes.
Tackled by Bates.
I think they really would love for Gray to try to bust one.
First down for IC Catholic.
Another first down for IC.
What a great job by the IC line. Jaden Smith, Darrell Taylor, Trey Harris, Nathan Amolo, Isaiah Gonzalez. He's the big guy up front, the guy that makes them go at 6'3", 285. They have been dominant tonight.
You know, when Denzel Gibson broke a couple of touchdown runs, it was Gonzalez that was leading the way, and that's what really opened up this game. You had a couple of passes, of course, KJ Parker, but that was Gibson's runs that really kind of turned the tempo. Gray shakes out of a tackle in the backfield. And he is still on his feet near the 30-yard line.
I think Coach just got the Gatorade / water bottle. It's a little bit early. I don't think he was ready for that on the far sideline. Right about the 40, you got a soaking wet Bill Craft. He's smiling about it.
Here's the plan.
No, they double teamed him.
Do a sprayer of some type, and then we're going to pull out number 11 and the coach and do the interviews. So if you
that was great strategy, right? Kind of splash him the first time and then empty the entire bucket.
This isn't too bad, then boom.
Cool.
And now it's just time to take a knee. There may be some flags down as a couple extra players were trying to hustle onto the field. Now we'll see whether they let it go. You know, it's not bad for him tonight, right? Had it been last Saturday when it was like 20 degrees and wind chill. Ah, that's nice. Nice tonight.
He'll love watching that later on. Breakdown film? How'd they do, Coach?
6 for 6. How much more can you do as a player and as a coach? You come to the state championship game, you walk away with the state title. There's Denzel Gibson. Over 100 yards rushing tonight, a couple of touchdowns.
All he did was average 13.8 yards per carry. Not too bad. As they rush the football for 232 yards. That's the way you win a championship.
Personnel all squared away here. Tough night for Williamsville. At least a tough last 2.5 quarters. They controlled this game. The Bullets controlled this game in the first quarter plus. And then it stopped.
Aaron Koo's team came in very well prepared, but just too much physicality tonight, and then speed after that physicality for IC.
And that will be the final play. IC Catholic, for the 6th time, comes to the state championship game, and for the 6th time, they win it. (48-17) the final, scoring 48 unanswered points to pull away and dominate here in 3A football. Your 3A champions, IC Catholic Prep.
They did everything they needed to do to win this football game. And you go back to the 10-0 Williamsville lead. Williamsville had control the first 8-10 minutes of this game. But Bill Kreft and his team stayed with their game plan, continued to do what they had planned to do during game plan session, made some plays, got the ball to the playmakers in speed situations. Their quarterback, Dennis Mandela, was absolutely superb, spreading around the wealth. All that, along with some great tackling, leads to a championship title.
Third quarter, the big one for IC Catholic. 4 touchdowns in the 7-minute and 50-second span. We'll step aside for a moment when we come back. Post-game interviews, trophy presentation, 48-17, your final.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and they care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Country Financial, proud partner of the IHSA, and by LiUNA. Start your career in construction at liunacareers.org.
IC Catholic Prep, your 3A state champions, and Casey Standahar is standing by with the head coach, Bill Krepp.
Down here with Coach Kraft on the field. Coach, congratulations. You stunned this Williamsville team to just 17 points the entire game. What was the spark plug in the second half?
Just our kids' energy, our kids' resilience again, like over and over again. They finished the way that they had done it all year. So there's no changes at halftime. There's nothing that was said. Kids came out and just decided to play their kind of football. So all the credit to our kids.
You talk about these kids, 3A champs. You also told us earlier this week what it means to be an IC man. What did you see from your IC men tonight?
I mean, I think that's the epitome of it, right? Like, come out with things going not so well and have to put a little bit of, like, stress on you and activate the right way. And the idea of, like, just execution when all the things are a little bit stressed and all things are a little bit tested and doing things right all the time. So I couldn't be more proud of our kids. I couldn't be more proud of the way they are. You know, one of the greatest football teams in the history of IC, and to go down like we did in that game and then come back like they did is just all the world of that's what they are. That's what they are.
Congratulations, Coach. Enjoy this one. Thank you. We have our player of the game, quarterback Dennis Mandela. Dennis, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. You guys got it done tonight. What holes were you seeing when you were reading the zone so well?
Yeah, we repped it all day, all week in practice. We knew where the safety was going to go. He jumped on some things, so our guys know where to be and our landmarks. We rep that in practice every day.
3A champs, when will that sink in?
Right now. I just live the moment with my team over there. They all deserve this, all the coaches. Thanks to everyone that supported us and the team.
This is your last time in an IC Knights football uniform. When you think about that, I apologize. You have another year going for you. So when you think about doing this one for the seniors, what does that mean for you to be able to do this for those seniors?
We came up a little short last year. I know how much it meant to them, those seniors, and I knew that these guys were hungry from the beginning of the year, from summer camp. I knew it meant a lot to them. So
congratulations.
For them.
Enjoy this one. Thank you so much. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. And let's now go to public address announcer Jeff Fritzen.
Fans, please direct your attention to the 50-yard line for the awards presentation fueled by Illinois Farm Families. Members of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors will be presenting awards to each team. On hand tonight are Augie Fontanetta of New Trier, Amy McMahon of Petersburg Porta, Tom Shergan of Chicago de La Salle, and Katie Hassan of Rock Ridge. Finishing the season in second place, the Williamsville Bullets. Individual awards are being presented to Superintendent Tip Reedy, Principal Doug Furlow, Athletic Director Adam Eicher, Head Coach Aaron Coons, and the Bullets captains. And now we'll present the second place trophy to the Williamsville Bullets, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses. Congratulations to the Bullets. Finishing the season as the Class 3A state champions, the IC Catholic Knights. Individual awards are being presented to Superintendent Father Tom Paul. Principal Stephen Davidson. Athletic Director Christopher Haas. Head Coach Bill Kreft. And the Knights captains. And now we'll present the championship trophy to the IC Catholic Knights, who finished the season with a final record of 13 wins and 1 loss. Congratulations to the Knights.
Congratulations to IC Catholic Prep, the Class 3A state champions in 2022, dominating 48-17 win over Williamsville. Congratulations also to the Bullets from Williamsville, driving all the way here to Memorial Stadium. A lot more coming up here from Champaign. Stick around. We've got 4A football coming up next.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money.